Okay. So yeah, restarted the stream, and now this is video number 107. So now we're at video 107, and then I'm gonna start the break timer for 16 minutes. So 16 minutes here. I don't know how Twitch handles it, like when you start and stop a stream, like does it disconnect you and you have to jump back on? I don't know how that works. So red timer. Do you know your powers are... You know your powers. Are you a programmer by chance? So to the power of, I don't understand that notation. Is that like a... Or is that just a typo? Anyways, but let's do 16 minutes. I'll be back. Wait, hold on. Gotta finish this apple. Okay. That's the thing. They all do so far. I need something with static type checking, multiple adherence, or default method implementations on interfaces, and a way to specify that the return value of a method is the same type as the containing instance, not simply the class it was defined in, but possibly a derived class instead. Okay, static type checking. So you're looking for a typed language, and I don't know the answer to this. I'm just kind of looking through your checklist here. Static type checking. I guess that isn't technically the same thing as a typed language, but usually typed language we assume static type checking. Multiple inheritance. Okay, so multiple inheritance. C++ does multiple inheritance. I'm sure you've already looked at C++. Or default method oh god, I can't talk. Or default method implementations on interfaces. Yeah, like, I think I read somewhere where people are like, interfaces aren't supposed to have default implementations or some kind of thing. But I don't know if that's the way you want to do things, I don't care. And a way to specify that the return value of a method is the same type as the containing instance, not simply the class it was defined in, but possibly a derived class instead. The return value of a method is the same type as the containing instance. I'd actually have to see some pseudocode for that to understand what you're talking about for that last thing. And a way to specify the return value of a method is the same type as the containing instance. Same type as the... that sounds like some type of polymorphism kind of stuff, but that's as far as I can grasp. Okay. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to figure out what the heck I'm doing wrong, and then I'm going to call it a day, right? So, this is going to be the shortest stream ever. Well, technically, this is the third stream in the day. Well, the third stream in a row, so, I mean, I don't know if that counts, but yeah. But yeah, I just want to figure out, like, am I doing something that doesn't make sense? Or... yeah, so let's just look at this. Let's look at our diagrams and kind of think about what we're doing here. Okay, so when we pack a value, if we set a value somewhere here, oh, no. And we shouldn't be seeing a memory stomp. No, I could see it happening where... wait a sec. Oh, I see what's going on. Basically, if you have a class A with a method f, and class B which extends A, you call b.f, it should return B, but be fully defined in A, or not even mentioned in B. Okay. So are you using that to chain? Are you using that to like chain calls, like where you have like you know how like there's function chaining, where you call a function and then it returns an object, and then you can invoke a function on that object and you can keep on invoking, right? Like in JavaScript, where you can some libraries are designed so that you can chain calls, so you can do like something dot do operation dot do another operation, and then you can do like do yet another, right? You can do this like, I don't know what this is called. It's called chaining or something like that. And because that sounds kind of like what you want to do. I don't know exactly what your use case is, but that's the first thing I kind of think of when you're saying that that you're like returning an object from a function. Okay. So I kind of yeah. Yeah. So, oh shit, gone over the deep end. Oops. Okay, so so I actually do realize what I'm doing wrong here. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, hey, wait a second, where is my exponent, right? We click here and we set a certain tile size. Where the heck is that defined? And I'm like, oh, wait a second, I know exactly where that's defined. That is defined in the bits, right? These bits right here store eight different 2-bit tile values for every single tile size, right? So this is a payload. This is a payload of 16 bits, and it stores 8 2-bit values. Each 2-bit value is a different tile value. I hadn't actually looked at C++, despite it being the first programming language I ever learned. Just C#, so gonna look at that now. Yeah, I would look at C++. I mean, C++ is monstrous, but yeah, I mean, I would take a look at it, because it's like they just keep on tacking things onto it, so I feel like it could probably do anything by now. But, you know, maybe not, I don't know. But anyways, so yeah, so this makes sense why it doesn't work, because if we go over here and we set some type of payload, it's going to define, part of that payload is going to define the largest tile size. And then if we go over here and we set that payload, one of those 2-bit values in that payload is going to set the value for this tile. And there is only one of those tiles, so of course we're going to get a memory stomp. And now I kind of am even more sure that the test code I have written earlier is failing because it's just failing because it's wrong. It's wrong. The other code I wrote is definitely wrong. The other test code I wrote, this test code right here is kind of technically wrong here. Putting all these values and then getting them, that can't work. Now, what we could do, if we want to have some sanity in this, there is some guarantee as to what values will not be affected. The only guarantee we have for no memory stomping here, the only guarantee we have for that when we're going through all of this, is that the smallest tile value, the one that is a 1x1 tile, that is kind of like in this coordinate space here, that tile value won't get memory stomped. Everything else is going to get memory stomped. So we could kind of, we could say, yeah, we don't know what the heck we're doing. And, we can say, I don't know how anyone want to write this. We can say, yeah, we could put this in here and be like, if B16, and we're going to mask it with 0x03, or we're going to mask it with 3 bits, right? And if this is not equal to B16, not B16, not the same thing, but if you look at the first 2 bits, those should never get memory stomped. So I'm sick of this. So I think that as long as the only guarantee of no memory stomp we can really have is the first tile value. packed into these values here. So we could do this, and if we wrap it like that, we'll expect this not to actually fail, so that we can actually write here, and we can actually write, you know, outvid IID 0107, and the time is 27 and 30. We can just say, turns out we don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we are doing. The only value guaranteed to not be memory stomped in this loop would be the smallest tile size packed into the two least significant bits, right? So we're just gonna keep this for, we're just gonna keep it like this, and we're just gonna wrap this here and say, we're not really wrong until this happens. I'm just kind of sick of this, so I just want to say, here's the correction that would make this test code proper. Now the test code is kind of ugly as heck. What about, Microsoft Java is not worthy to be looked, TBH, what does TBH stand for? Though, by the way, what does that stand for? What about printing every time B not equals G to see if some pattern appears? Anytime B not equal to G. Actually, yeah, like, there could be some type of pattern. Now, how would we get that going in terms of a little, whatever, yeah, we can, sure, why not? Why not, you know? We're here, we can mess around, so we can give that a shot. So, so you're saying, when, B not equal to G, yeah, so, yeah, we can print that out, and we can just say, now the question is, what do we print, though? What are we going to print? Are we going to say, well, because we could print the CX, CY value. Now, when we're trying to look for a pattern, it's really a lot easier to find patterns, I think, when first of all, when we have color, and also when we have 2 dimensions, which the console kind of does not make that easy for that kind of thing. But we could do something like printf, and we could do like CX, CY, we could do the layer, we could do the offset index, and then we could do, let's not even worry about that, let's just worry about these things here. And then we'll do like, I don't know, %D, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, %D. And then we'll run out of room here, so it's gonna indent this a little bit like this. And then right here, we'll just do this, we'll just do CX, we'll do CY. Oh, I missed something here. We'll do CX, we'll do CY, we'll do the layer, we'll do the offset. And then we'll do we have a new line? We don't have a new line. We should probably fix that. So we need a \n on here, or else this is going to look ugly. So we could try something like that, and just see if anything interesting happens. I don't know if anything will actually interesting happen. Yeah, so I mean, we're just going to run it like this, and I assume that if we do this little check here, and we're only comparing those first 2 least significant bits, the code is just going to work. And then I think that tomorrow, if I'm up tomorrow at all, I'm going to scrap some of the test code that just does not work. Because I think I have much suspicion that that test code isn't working because it's just not written properly. Yeah. I'll have to think about it. I mean, if we iterate only for one exact point, then I don't... I'll have to think about it. But this stuff definitely gives me some insight to think why my other test code might be failing. I would need 2 days after such a marathon you just made. I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. I'm definitely not going to be as motivated tomorrow because then I can't drink any caffeine tomorrow. So I won't be as motivated. It'll just be kind of a day where it's like I hate doing this, but just slowly kind of trudging through. So I'll try to get like. So what'll happen? Realistically, what'll happen tomorrow is I'll be like, I don't want to work, but I at least need to get 100 push-ups. That's what's going to happen. And so I'm going to black tea is black tea. Yeah, black tea counts. Black tea is definitely caffeine. Yeah, absolutely. I accidentally drank some black tea because I didn't realize it was black tea. I thought it was decaf. I thought it was it said it was lemon tea, so I thought it was herbal tea. And then I'm like, I seem very motivated right now. That's weird, because it's been a few days since I drank coffee. This isn't right. And then I realized, oh yeah, this is black tea. No wonder I feel slightly more motivated. I'm like, well, I'm motivated now, so I might as well do some work, put it to use. Okay, yeah, so let's just give it a shot. Let's give this a shot and see if this doesn't crash. Well, it's still going to crash, but is it going to crash on the test that was crashing at the beginning of the day? Terminated. Suggested parentheses around comparison and operand of... Okay, sure, why not? Oh, hold on. No, that's correct. But sure, we can do that. For a second, I thought I was... Yeah, that's fine. See, I actually like more parentheses than necessary, and this is the first time the compiler has actually told me, hey, buddy, use more parentheses. Like, I usually use, like, way too many parentheses, so I'm actually surprised that the compiler, I'm slacking on my excessive parentheses, I guess. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see where it fails. Oh, boy. Well, we flooded the console. But we can wait. Well, I mean... So the pattern... I think I found the pattern. The pattern is... everywhere. That's the pattern. Like, if you look at the, Actually, no. If you look at... Oh, never mind. You know what? If you look at the CY... actually, there is some type of pattern there, right? So on the X, it's every value on the X, but on the Y, that actually makes sense. So this might take a long time. So let's look at this for a second, or actually, it might be almost done. I think it's gonna go up to 255 on both. Oh no, it's gonna. Okay, so it actually makes sense what it's doing. So when you think of a selection, hey, look, that original test failed, but this test didn't fail. So, anyways, we're gonna remove this what would we call it? Console bomb. I guess that's what I'm gonna call it. We're gonna remove that, and we're gonna run this one more time. Yeah, I'm sorry. It'll live on in our memory. And I think it's just gonna crash on the test that we had at 16 hours ago. We were crashing on this test. We're still crashing on this test, but now I kind of think that this test is just failing because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. You are writing 1 to entire 4 tile. Oh, so when I am... So, one coordinate... Okay, when I run... Okay. So, let's look... Okay, so this put command right here, CX and CY... Let's say CX and CY is, like, right here. And then the layer and the offset index. But the tiles, right? When I'm writing to a tile, this bit payload will write to all 8 tiles at once. So we target a location here, but it's going to successfully write a 1x1 tile, a 2x2 tile, a 4x4 tile, an 8x8 tile, a 16x16 tile, a 32x32 tile, and I'm missing something here, because it should go up to 128. Hold on, let me say that again. Okay, so this command right here, for a given CX, CY, layer, and offset ducts, that bit payload, this B16, this 16-bit payload, is going to make it set at this location one 1x1 tile, one 2x2 tile, one 4x4 tile, one 8x8 tile, one 16x16 tile, one 32x32 tile, one 64x64 tile, and one 128x128 tile. It's going to set all of those tiles. So it's going to set the tiles that are underneath that pixel, basically. Now the problem is, but supposedly no memory should overlap, right? Not true, because, okay, so right here, for this tile design, the code is actually working how it's supposed to. But the overlap was my fault because I didn't understand how the code was working. So the memory overlap. So let's just concentrate on the largest tile value. The largest tile value is just one gigantic tile, right? So if I say that the tile brush uses this big tile value, then if I click here, it sets the same tile. It sets the gigantic tile. If I click here, sets the same gigantic tile. If I click here, it sets the same gigantic tile, because there's only one gigantic tile. Now, if I'm using a quarter size tile, so a tile that's about this size, and there's 4 of them, right? There's one here, and there's another here, and there's another here. Well, if I click here, then it sets one tile value. And if I click over here, and then if I click over here, it sets another tile, and there's no overlap, right? Because I clicked somewhere in here and it set this tile. I clicked somewhere in here and it sets this tile. No overlap. However, there's no possible way to set a certain tile value of the largest tile size and then set a certain value of the largest tile size over here. It overwrites it because there's only one slot. There's only one slot for the largest tile value, right? Because there's only one of the largest tile. Well, technically, there's 3 layers for the largest tile, but for what we're talking about, let's just say there's just one slot for the largest tile. For the quarter size tile, there's 4 slots, right? The only tile where if we go over this 128 by 128 region and set tiles and have absolutely no overlap, the only tile size that will do that is tile size 0, because tile size 0 is the most granular unit, and this diagram is measured in the smallest tile size. So only the smallest tile is not going to overlap. Then that explains the amount of inequalities. Yes, it does. It absolutely does explain the amount of inequalities, and it also makes me think that I am fairly certain that the problem with my test code that's still failing right now is that test code is just bad code. It's just a bad test. It's a bad test. I'll have to take a closer look at it maybe tomorrow and decide if I'm just going to completely nuke that test, like completely strip it out, or because I'm still kind of wondering, like, how the heck. It seems that test is always working when I choose a coordinate here, but if I choose a coordinate here, then the test starts failing, and I don't get that. I don't know why. I gotta look at my test a little bit more. But that's okay, because it's okay if you're not aware of that, because I obviously wasn't aware of what I was doing either, because if I was aware of what I was doing, I wouldn't have written this test that does the wrong thing and tells me that my code doesn't work, and it turns out that it's just the test code that doesn't work. So, that's the thing, right? So anyways, hopefully you know, the goal here. So let's go over the high level goal here before we get out of here really quick. So the high level goal, if we go back to the demos. So obviously there's like a maybe use the test but iterate the tile type. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, definitely. There could be some type of modification I could do to it. Definitely. So let's go over the high level overview. So not the long term goal, but the short term goal right now is isn't this? Yeah. So the short term goal is just to get like this tile set editor, right? Not exactly like this, because the tile set editor is just going to be 4 subtiles, and this is 4x4 subtiles. But the end goal right now is to get some type of tile editor so that I can give it to my artist and they can start kind of like making some cool artwork or whatnot. And also you can play with it as well once I get something working that you can actually, you know, do stuff with. Well, provided that you have Windows. Sorry, I have a lot of Windows specific code right now. I'm kind of figuring that until the code base actually looks promising, where it actually looks substantial, I'm not really worrying about cross-platform. I'm just worried about get something that is awesome. If I don't get something that's awesome, it doesn't really make any sense to concentrate too much on cross-platform. Now, I know some people would disagree with that. Some very smart people I know on Newgrounds would disagree with that, like somebody named Neon Spider. Or a Windows emulator, right? Like yeah, you could use like a Wine, I think. Yeah, Wine. Wine, right? Wine is the only one I know about. But yeah, I mean, you know, when it's ready to play with, you know, I'll give you a little tutorial of what to do. I have like a whole set of hotkeys and things already wired up. Like I already have hotkeys. The hotkeys are designated to the left hand so that you can click with the mouse and set tiles, and then use the hotkeys to like iterate through the different tile sizes and the different tile values. John Blow says there's no incentive to cross-platform to Unix-like OS. I feel like he's like, does he not want to do? I know Jonathan Blow has talked a lot about like being really angry at the insanity of Win32 code. So that's an interesting thing. So you think you mean like generically coding so that it just kind of like you can target one platform or the other versus porting? Are you talking about that? The difference between it can target one platform or another versus porting. Is that what we're talking about? Too much effort for very small market. Okay, I got ya. Yeah. There's one called VirtualBox as well, which my girlfriend uses. She's on Mac. Okay, got ya. Yeah. Yeah, it's like one of those things where, yeah, like I don't know much about the share of different operating systems, but it's like the first thing is I don't want things to distract from my focus, right? And I think that worrying about different operating systems is just going to distract from my focus, because the main thing, right, the number one goal is get working code, right? So it doesn't matter if it only works on one platform. The prime directive, the main goal is to get working code, right? So whatever you got to do to get that working code, that is the main. That's the main thing. I think you can see such metrics on Steam. Oh, you can? Okay. Yeah, so maybe I should get more acquainted with Steam. My girlfriend uses it a lot, but I don't, because the only game I play is Doom. I play Doom Eternal on what is that day that I can't work? Sundays. If you're on Twitch, you're among gamers, which means it's gonna mainly be Windows. Okay, got ya. So I'm not in too bad of a condition by having all of this native Win32 code. Got ya. Okay, very good. Good to know. But anyways, it was good having you guys around. Because sometimes this stuff gets boring. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna get going now, because I think that I figured out something. Actually, I figured out a lot of stuff. We got a cool little pattern. Actually, I'm gonna upload that one thing to Imgur, because I have that one pattern, but I also have the other pattern I'm gonna upload to Imgur right now. So it was this pattern with the colors in it, right? Yeah, I'm gonna upload this one to Imgur really quick, and then I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna take that really quick. I'm gonna go to Imgur, upload that, and then I'm out of here. So Imgur. So the mod folder in the project is, it's exactly what it says. It's a mod folder. It's meant to be modified. The idea is that when my application creates kind of like files, when it creates all of its shader code and whatnot, I'm intentionally putting it in a folder called mod, so that people kind of get the idea that if they know enough about shader code, they can be free to edit that code, and it will change how the game looks. So the way the mod code folder works is if certain resource files do not exist yet, they'll be loaded from the text segment of the executable and persisted to the hard disk. If they already exist on the hard disk, then the program will read the version from the hard disk rather than the version that is embedded into the executable, right? And so far, I got that system working pretty seamlessly. Yes, I know that word. So here you go. But yes, now I'm really out of here. Oh wait, hold on. There's one more thing. On Imgur. So my girlfriend made this, but the URL makes no sense. But it's slightly amusing. We don't know how to meme, but we're trying to meme. We're trying our best. And we don't know how to meme. We're trying our best. So she did this. She made this little label here. And yeah. So I believe that URL is not correct. Because I don't think you can do twitch.tv. whatever. Don't let your memes be dreams. Yeah, okay. Alright. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, I'm gonna close this. I have the approval. Alright. I'm gonna try to redo that because the URL is not correct. And I wanna get I gotta get the cred. I gotta get the street cred. Anyways, yeah, so I'll see you later. I'm out of here. I don't know when I'll be back. I try to at least get a little bit of code. yeah. I try to get a little bit of code. Yeah, the URL is a DNS probe finished NX domain. Interesting. That I don't know what that means. I'm not very good at web programming, but yeah, I'll see you around. I don't know when I'll be back. I always try to get a little bit of code written every day, but sometimes that just means I pop in for like an hour or two, right? You know, it means it doesn't. Oh, fair enough. Okay, I got ya. Yeah, fancy way to say it doesn't work. I thought that was just like a 404. Oh, I guess 404 is actually a server response though, right? So, fair enough. Okay. Yep. So later. Good night, or good morning, or good whatever the hell is going on here. Later.